Anybody that's been following along for a while will know I love Australian made stuff and always carry on about it. So today we're going to be showing you what I've got on the ute that's Australian made and how affordable and accessible it really is, because most people just assume it's too expensive and take the Chinese option when it's really not. Firstly, we're not sponsored at all, just love Australian made stuff and want to support it as much as we can. Now you may not realise, but you might already have Australian made stuff because a lot of the big brands are manufactured in Australia, which is great. One you'll definitely know of is ARB, which they're made in Melbourne, and they're a very good, strong bull bar, never had any troubles, and they're quite affordable. Like this one, just under $1,500 for this bull bar, which is good for an Australian made, obviously. And then another one you'll notice is GME, they're made in Sydney, which they're awesome, had heaps of their stuff, aerials and radios, and you'll notice a lot of machines have them. About 90% of machinery, trucks and equipment all run GME stuff because they're obviously reliable, and they need to be reliable because they're used for safety stuff. So I definitely know I can trust GME. And one last thing up front, I've got this mesh, sort of a bug grill thing. That's an Australian made, just a small company makes them, just BJ Canvas. That was already on when I got it, but yeah, definitely worth it and looks good too. So I do have steadies and would like to get a set of light force because they're Australian made, but there's nothing wrong with them. They're great light, good quality, and most importantly, they're Australian owned and everything. So they have warehouses and they employ people in Australia, which is the next best thing from Australian made you can do, is always make sure it's someone that's Australian owned. So, but still a very great light, nothing wrong with them, but just would like some Australian made. So down the side, a brand you most likely would have heard about is Safari. They're Australian made. They roto-mold their snorkels in Melbourne. And yeah, they're always great quality. They always fit spot on compared to like a lot of the Chinese, just sort of, you got to cut things out. They don't quite fit right. So it's always better to spend a little bit extra, because you can get that $100 snorkel, but you stuff around and it just looks rubbish compared to the extra $200 or so, and you get a good quality Australian made snorkel. Like I was saying, we've got the GME radios. Good quality, work every time, and the Red Arc stuff, also Australian made, a low cooling alarm. A new addition I got a couple weeks ago is a Grab Me Gear dash organizer. Great product from Western Australia, very good quality and actually surprisingly very good price. They also do some other sort of organising bags for your drawers and just around your car just to keep everything together, which is great. So I'll definitely be getting some more of them soon. And I'll be getting in the future, hopefully, some Australian made black duck seat covers, because these ones are getting pretty ugly and definitely need to be changed soon. And behind the seat, I've recently changed the battery setup. I've moved the charger from onto the bonnet and the battery from onto the tray got a nice slimline battery just behind here, keeps everything cooler and out of the weather and everything. So I've got the Kimberley to Cape, it's just a battery holder, and they're made in North Queensland, Cairns. And the same Red Arc charger, which I've had for a while, never had any troubles with, goes great. Just keeps it a lot cooler when it's in here instead of the engine bay. And then also on a side note, I've got the C-Tech, it's just like a small charger, so that it's permanently plugged in, so you can just plug a power lead into it. It's good if you're ever at a powered site or something, so you can always be charging your battery, and so your fridge never goes flat. And just good to keep them charged up. When you go away or anything, just plug it in and it'll just keep charged constantly. On the tray, I've got the CSM steel toolbox, once again, Australian made. And inside, you'll notice I've moved the fridge from out the back to in here, because it's just better for the sun on it all day, makes it work harder, and then your battery gets more work, everything just gets more work. So it's better to have it in here, and better for no one stealing it too. I've also moved it onto a fridge slide. I've got a Dun & Watson fridge slide, which they're made on the Gold Coast, so they're great quality, aluminium. Definitely good price for a fridge slide because they are ridiculously expensive, a lot of them. This one was about $300, which I'd say was on the cheaper side when you see some of them about drop size about $1,000. So that's pretty good. And then, like I said, I had the Grab Me Gear little storage bags. So it's also got a clear top on them, which is great for seeing what's in them, so you don't end up forgetting about things. So that's all that's going on in here. We'll take a look at the tray. Like pretty much old trays, this one's made in Australia because obviously too big and heavy to be importing them, which is a great thing, so they pretty much have to be made here. And also a lot of people like custom made sort of setup, so it's obviously just way easier to make them here, which is great. And you'll see this one is the original tray that came with it when the last owner bought it about 15 years ago from new. So it was getting a bit old and ugly looking, so the wood was all tearing up and getting distorted. So I've just put a new decking on it, which come up real nice. And then obviously just pulled it off and gave it everything a respray, nice white again. So it looks way better and nicer than it was before. You may be thinking, why did I redo the wood instead of, like a lot of people would rather just put steel on instead? Well, it turns out I thought that at the start, but after using the wood tray for as long as I did, you find it's a lot better than steel, the way things slide on it and the way it actually takes the impact, because it can absorb the impact, whereas steel sort of just bangs around and it's real annoying. Whereas if you have things banging around the back with wood, it's just nice and just absorbs all the sounds and looks a lot better and doesn't get scratched up because the paint can't scratch off it, just sort of scratches your wood, and obviously can't rust as well. So it just sort of stays nicer for longer, I reckon. And lastly, my exhaust, that's from Dandenong Exhaust. They're made in Dandenong, Victoria, which I couldn't believe was actually the cheapest of all the options I was looking at. So I thought I'd give it a shot, and it turns out it goes against what everyone thinks. You know, Australian made would be the most expensive, but in this case it was actually the cheapest, which was great. And I've had it for 6 months now, still no troubles, everything's holding up, even the paint hasn't even come off yet, which is very good. So I hope this gets you thinking that next time you're out looking for your latest accessory or anything, you'll make sure you're checking where it's made and go for Australian first. So thanks for watching.